The U.S. Supreme Court has revived a Trump-era immigration policy that forces people to stay in Mexico while waiting for asylum hearings. Critics say it puts migrants in dangerous conditions in border cities. There's been a surge in people seeking asylum since Joe Biden came to power. But with little federal help, local governments and charities in Texas say that they're struggling to cope. Kate Fisher with this report.
The Herrera family arrived in Texas after a 17-day journey from Nicaragua.
Y la parte más difícil es de México a Estados Unidos.
En autobús,
camionetas, en carros, en lancha, en todo.
They fled their home in search of a better future. Ramses, his wife and eldest daughter all contracted COVID-19 on the journey. After 11 days of quarantine and a vaccination at this shelter in Texas, they're on their way to Florida to pursue their asylum claim. The US government says it doesn't have the time or space to test migrants for COVID-19. So while they get a basic health screening, only those who appear sick are sent for testing, which is done by charities like this one or the local government. But that burden has become too much for some cities and counties.
Everyone here has tested positive for COVID-19 or a family member has. They'll quarantine here for 10 days. Without this charity, they'd be released into the community without medical care and to potentially spread the virus.
Pastor Mike Smith runs this shelter, the only one in the city of Laredo taking in people who have COVID-19. He says they're preparing to expand outside.
We've reached out and asked for tents. We've asked for just anything else that we can do because logically it doesn't make sense. You're going to have increased numbers of people coming in, but no place to house them because nobody wants to deal with them.
Many of these migrants are being apprehended far from Laredo, in cities like Roma, where CNA filmed earlier this year. Their numbers are overwhelming authorities there. They say they simply don't have enough space or staff, so they're being transported to Laredo for processing. But with no support from the federal government, the mayor says his city and its healthcare system is at breaking point.
Approximately 40% of the people that actually arrive here to get processed in Laredo, Texas, have been detected with COVID-19 and possibly some variants. So the city of Laredo, as of Friday, we filed a lawsuit against the federal government asking them not to send more buses, more migrants to our city.
That's brought some respite for Pastor Mike Smith and his team, who already prepare 1,000 meals a day in this small kitchen. There's no border wall in Laredo. The Rio Grande River separates Texas from Mexico. But the city's mayor says they need more resources from the White House to cope with the surge in illegal immigration.
You know, President Biden ran on no physical walls, but he did run on a virtual wall, an intelligent wall, which basically means more Border Patrol personnel, more high-tech, technology. But we really haven't seen any of that. So it's putting a humongous strain here in our city. Obviously, something was working under President Trump, without getting into the political arenas, and obviously something is not working under President Biden.
As more people arrive on America's doorstep, Joe Biden is under more pressure to make it work. But as the White House struggles to control the twin surges of migrants and COVID infections, small communities like this are left to cope with the turmoil. Kate Fisher, CNA, Laredo, Texas.